Hey there, welcome to episode 37 of the Mindful Mama Movement podcast. Today, Ashley and I are talking about finding comfort and peace during the winter season. We know that the holidays are upon us, and as mothers, we carry a lot of the pressures that come with that. So we're going to talk about how we feel about the holidays, how to stay more mindful during this season, how we feel about winter, and ways that we find comfort during the season and why that's so important. And we will be back with the podcast after the holidays, launching the beginning of January. And with that, let's just go right into the show. Enjoy. Hi, Ash.
Hi, Shannon. We're so excited to be here.
I think it's funny. We just talked a moment about what we want to share with you guys today, and it's all about the theme of comfort. And you and I just ran to get our comfy blankies. We're like wrapping ourselves up. Maybe we need a little more comfort right now.
For certain. Yeah, Shannon goes, I gotta go warm up my coffee. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, of course you have to do that. And then she came back with a blanket and I'd gone and gotten a blanket.
So cozy. Well, before we get into just some of the topic today about winter and the holidays and what brings us peace and comfort in this stressful time of year, we cannot go without talking about your big birthday coming up. Happy birthday. And tell us
Thank
how you're going
you.
to celebrate.
Well, I'm turning 50 in a couple of days, and I'm really actually I feel like I've got my brakes on, my energetic brakes that I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mm.
I for sure feel like I didn't really think this was ever going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've become an empty nester this year. I also it feels like I'm out of touch, but turning 50 felt so far off for literally until the last few months. And my children being grown and launched felt like, I don't know, like I was just going to keep doing this mom thing, carpool thing. And so I think I'm having a little bit of an identity crisis. Thrilled about it. I'm glad I got, that I'm here at 50.
Yeah.
And we are going to Mexico. And so Will and I and my sister and her husband are going. And then the boys are coming kind of after they're done with college classes. And they'll be there for a week at the end. So I've never traveled this long before. We're going for 2 full weeks. And the weather looks really perfect. And we're just gonna be on a beach and do a lot of chilling and walking and together. All that really I want is, to be with my kids, and hopefully they want to be with me too. That's my hope, is that they're happy and excited to spend some time with me.
Yes, that sounds beautiful. Well, I always love your honesty, and that's so true. I mean, this is a big one, and
Mm-hmm.
energetic breaks. That's really a fabulous way to describe
Mm-hmm.
how that must feel, how that feels when we can't, I mean, I feel like that all the time. Now that you say that, I'm thinking about, I literally every day I see like my kids are just getting taller and taller and taller and taller. And they walk to me every morning. I swear to God, they've grown another inch overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to slow down time so badly, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't. And
Mm-hmm.
so as I'm resisting that, I just feel that's such a good description, this
Mm-hmm.
energetic break.
Like a cat that you're getting, like if we were visualizing it, I feel like a cat that you're trying to put in the bathtub. Like the arms and legs are like,
Stop.
extended. No, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it feels like to
Yeah.
me. And so I'm kind of looking forward to being on the other side of the birth date and
Mhm.
just get on with it. I have kind of had this like, what I want for my 50th birthday? I was telling Will, I think he thinks I'm nuts, that I'm like, I want to quit celebrating birthdays. And he's like, where are you coming from, Ash? And I'm just like, I don't, I don't identify with a number
Yes.
at all. And so I think
Mhm.
sometimes for me, birthdays have always been kind of hard for me. The attention or the not enough attention,
Mhm.
or a present or not a present, or who calls you or who doesn't call you. All of it's too much for me.
Yeah.
That I'm always just like,
Yeah.
once it's over, it's easy, but the lead up to it feels not that fun for me. And I just said, I don't feel like what I thought 50 was going to feel like. Or when I look back at my mom at age 50, um, I feel very different than what that looked like. And I don't know.
Hmm.
Like people will be like, you're looking toward retirement. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm a worker, I'm gonna work
Oh
a really long
gosh.
time.
Yeah, maybe it's the labels of things too, because there's such
Mhm.
expectation in those things, whether it's you're getting to an age close to retirement or 50. Oh my God, I that's really interesting. So you and I both have winter birthdays. Mine's in January. And when you were talking, I thought, gosh, I've felt that way too, where I have just decided over the years that I just plan my own birthday. But it's a lot of it, has to do with like self-care. Like, it's like, I mean,
Mhm.
last year I literally went to Lawrence and I stayed in a hotel by myself. I woke up on my
That
birthday
sounds like us. We're like, yeah.
by myself, and I had my
Mhm.
paints, and then I came home and celebrated with my family. But it was divine, and that's what I needed then. But every year's a little bit different. But sometimes I'm kind of like, if you don't do that, then it is a little disappointing, or you feel like,
Mhm.
oh, it's just another day. Maybe we'll have to talk about that some more. I love that thought of maybe not even calling it a birthday, or
Mhm.
picking a whole different day. Why not? Since you're not really fond of winter, and
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
segue
Why
into
can't I
our
get a
discussion.
I
Why
don't want
can't
a
you do a
July
summer
birthday
birthday?
either.
Okay,
Yeah.
when would you want it?
Late May, late May.
Yeah, I'd want an October.
Late May or late September. Yeah.
Hmm.
Where the weather's just really divine.
Right, right. Okay, well, let's talk. Happy birthday, by the way. I love
Thanks,
you, and
Shan.
I know that you're gonna, at least soak up the sun. And that will be a good
Mhm.
time to be soak up the sun with your sons.
Yep. For suns into sun. Yep. I think so.
Yeah, good. All right, so
Thanks.
winter. Winter. Do you feel
Hmm.
like a cat when winter's coming too? No.
Hmm.
How do you feel about winter?
I probably my whole life, like when you were a little kid, like, we didn't know about like seasonal affective disorder or anything, but I remember being little, like second grade, and being like, oh my God, it's starting to get cold. And so I really never enjoyed fall that much
Mm,
because I knew it cold was coming. And maybe that's why I haven't really loved my birthday, is because it's in December. I don't know. But probably, I don't know, in the last decade or so, I have very intentionally been aware of, Ashley, you're starting to feel nervous. It's mid-October, kind of the first time it gets cold at night, that um, winter starts to feel kind of scary for me. And so I very, very, very intentionally now do more self-care. I plan something warm, whether it's,
mhm.
going into a sauna or a bath, or like, what can I do to feel warm? Because I feel better when my body's a little hot instead of cold. And so, um, yeah, I feel nervous, but like, okay, what do you have to do to dissipate that nervousness?
Mhm.
And usually it's planning some kind of vacation if I can. If we can go away, then I do, and if not, just more times warm. And
Mhm.
I do take way more baths. We always have a fire going. Always, 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 always. You ought to see
Yes.
the amount of blankets in our kind of, you know, sofa area, that all of me and my kids all are under blankets all the
Uh-huh.
time
Uh-huh.
when it's even a little bit chilly.
Are you one of those bath takers that have to take it in like scalding hot, hot, hot water? Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
love the
hard to
hot,
get
hot
into my water.
bath. That's how I am.
Sometimes, sometimes Will join me in the tub, but he waits until I've been in like 45 minutes because it's too hot for him to get into.
I used to do that too with the when the kids were young and they would want to get in, and I mean
Yeah.
they'd have to wait forever because then they could like sit on the
It's
very top.
120 degrees or
Oh, That's awesome. Yeah, that feels good this time of year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you like winter.
I do. And, but it's funny because I have talked to so many people that have that same vibe you're sharing,
Hmm.
like just this really anticipation, anxiousness of it. And maybe part of it is the holidays too, which I want to talk about. But yeah, the things I don't like the dark at 5 p.m.
Hmm.
I love to walk, I love to be
Yep,
outside.
same.
Oh,
Like the day ends too early.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that really takes a mindset shift and really, does a number on me for a
Mm.
while. However, I have started walking at night with my couple kids and we just bundle up and that's been kind of fun to do, but it's not ideal. Like I would prefer to be out, in the sunshine. But yeah, when October hits for us, like it's like the most exciting time of year from
Mm.
October through I would say through January at least, partly because we have three birthdays this time of year. I've always loved fall is like my favorite when the leaves start to change, the smells, the
Mm.
foods, the soups. Like I don't
Hmm.
like to cook really during the summer and even spring, but I'm like a soup maker, so I
Yeah.
like that part
Yeah.
of it a lot. And I think also, Ashley, I think part of what winter does for me is it just
Mhm.
forces me to slow down.
Yeah.
And it gives me an excuse to kind of go in my cave, like when I'm creating, when I'm
Mhm.
painting, when I'm doing things at home where I can kind of hide out a little bit. I feel like it allows me the permission, in quotes, to
Mhm.
unplug from things that call me away. Do you know what I mean? So like I'm more
Yeah.
active and I just feel like if the sun's out and if, people want to go out and do things, like I just feel so much more in that mode during the hot
Hmm.
seasons. But yeah, being able to like sit by the fire and read, like I don't give myself that time if I'm just kind of always in action mode. So I think for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and I have joked that I must be a bear because there is this like natural hibernation period that happens for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's part of my energy type. It's part of my creative process too. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, yeah. So I do enjoy it for that part of it. But it
I
does
do
get long.
wish, I live in a house with a single car garage. So my single car garage really is kind of a storage unit. And I've always thought like, oh, those people with three-car garages and they can just go out there and there's no snow on their car. That I I like the convenience of warm weather, of just being able to throw your flip-flops on and walk out the door.
Right.
And they're like, where's my mittens? And I don't like being cold. And so I like, I'm like, I've got to have good mittens, I've got to have warm boots, I've got to have a good stocking hat or five. And where are they? And I've got to go and scrape my car and warm up my car. All of that is a bummer for me. But I
Yes.
like the once you're home, the staying home and cooking meals that you eat on for 3 days because it's a stew or whatever. I
Yeah.
do love those parts. Yeah. And
Yeah.
kind of being stuck together as a family, that we're
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
yeah, you're less gonna just run out the door, I think.
Yeah, that is cool.
Hmm.
It does force us to slow down and just think a little differently, but that is true. I don't have Chris's shop is our garage, so I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. You just
Car.
pull up.
Yeah. All right. So holidays are coming up. For people listening, this might be after holidays, but right now we're anticipating the holidays and you know, different stages of motherhood, we have different feelings about the holidays,
Mhm.
right? So I'm
Oh, for
curious how
sure.
you feel. Like for me now, when the kids were in public school, I liked that, but I remember being so stressed out because there were three kids with three holiday parties and there always were
Mhm.
just so much going on to get to. And I remember every time I picked them up for holiday break, it was like, oh my God, I made it. That's how I felt. Like, just like,
Yeah.
we made it.
Yeah.
Now we're a little more intentional. We can slow down a little bit. I'm trying to do less. That I've gotten
Hmm.
better as an older mother of older children. I'm getting better at I don't need to take them to see Santa. I don't need to do, there's so
God,
many
yes.
I can say yes
Oh
to.
my God. I remember one time being in a Santa line at one of the malls here. My kids were little. Like in the picture, Owen is maybe a year and a half old. So they would have been like 1.5, 2.5, just turned 4.
Oh my God.
And me and my neighbor took the kids, and then Santa, and we'd been in line for like an hour. Then Santa took a break, like a lunch break. And so we had to sit there for like another hour. And then the line started again. I bet we were there 3 hours. And then our kids hated it and wanted to
Yeah.
get off of his
And
lap.
they're
And
scared of
everybody
it.
looks like they've been stabbed. They're like jumping off of Santa's lap. And yeah, I'm glad that I never have to be in a line for Santa again.
I see a new podcast episode. Why did we do that? Like, go back to all the times of like the
For
things we
real.
did. Why did we do that? But yes, it feels so good to just like, okay, I really try to stop myself now and go, do I need to do this? Why am I stressing out about this? And be more intentional about the things we do. So for you now, I'd love to know like kind of your stress level around the holiday season, but then also what are some of the things you don't like, but all of the things that you love? What are some of your favorite like family traditions this time of year?
I Until last year, we always had a real tree, and we got a fake tree. I don't remember why. I think just because boys weren't gonna, like we always would go and get it together, and I'm like, everybody's gone, whatever. And so we got a fake tree, which is really convenient, by the way. But I loved that we always just waited. We usually did it on my birthday because everybody would be together on that night. So many, 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 many years we went and got the tree together and then decorated it together on my birthday. And that's what I wanted for my birthday. And, usually that's all I got. But but I love that. And we have so many pictures of somebody, you know, on a ladder or on Will's shoulders or, putting the tree topper on. And I love that. I love I love the decorating together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like shopping. I don't like shopping for anything. I don't like shopping for jeans. I don't
Yeah.
I I like shopping for groceries actually. That you're just wandering through the store, and I
Yeah.
like yeah, I like picking my own produce. I like shopping for groceries, but I don't like shopping. And so Christmas shopping and crowds are always overwhelming for me. And online shopping is kind of a relief if I can go, or I try to think. I'm always extremely mindful of my energy. Like I can't go to a mall. I can't take it. But I can go to oh, like locally here, we've got a couple of stores that are called like Made in Kansas City, and it's all like local makers and local artists, and that often I will get everything for everybody there.
Love it.
Like a new Kansas City sweatshirt, some soaps that are locally made. And so I can bust it out in one thing. And so when that works out, I feel really grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I do love Christmas. It always kind of feels like it goes too fast, but I love kind of the rituals around it. And until I think last year, my children every Christmas Eve, and I don't remember why they started this, but they all sleep in one room. And
Oh, I
I
love that.
know I love the things that have become a holiday tradition that weren't planned, that we didn't know were going to become a tradition for us, like getting and decorating a tree on my birthday or boys sleeping together in one room Christmas Eve. I love those things.
Your own
I'll see if I
personal.
can make them do it. So they're 18, 19. Ben will be 21, and Jake's 28. We'll see if I can make them sleep in
Okay,
one room this
this can
year.
be one of your 50th birthday wishes. This is what you want for your birthday.
Recreation of my favorite family traditions. How
Yeah.
about you? What do you guys like? What do you look forward to? What do you love and not love?
Well, one thing you said that reminds me of a day that, so my oldest, I've told you about him a little bit. He just is very, well, I'll say nostalgic. He loves
Mm,
family and together, and it's really sweet. And
mm.
so he actually created Nostalgic Day, is what we call it. And it's literally once a year, and it's usually around the holiday time. And he remembers favorite foods we used to eat when they were young, or favorite games. Like it'd be like the whole day are things like we'll pull out Candyland, like those old games we played, or
Mm,
watch some of their old favorite PBS shows, or
mm. Oh, I
get,
love
isn't
that.
that the
I'd
sweetest?
watch Sesame Street all day long.
Oh
That
my
I
God,
know.
seriously, I would too. And they will put he'll plan like a favorite old meal, and then he puts together a slideshow, and we watch
Oh my
old like
God, I
home
need him to
videos.
be my kid. I need somebody just to do those action items. Like,
Yes,
I want the
totally.
slideshow. I don't have anybody that does it.
Yeah, I know. So that is like our family thing that I'm like, I will carry this one for a lifetime. Like we
Yeah.
just get excited about that and think about what to do there. So that's kind of a kickoff to our
Mhm.
holidays. Yeah, so I love that. And then we started a 12 days of Christmas countdown.
Oh, great.
And we put little things in a box,
Mhm.
and it's really cool because the kids get involved too. So they all get to pick a day to surprise each other, and then we do things.
Oh,
But,
that's
but
great.
it's all sorts of things like we also do pay it forward days. So like we're going to do harvesters, and so that will be one of our days. Like, well, today's the day we're going to harvesters, or today's the day we'll deliver flowers to so and so. Or so it's not just about getting things, but it's just a little fun thing for them. So they all love, love, love that, and then they get to do things for each other. So it might just be we're going to play a game tonight, or as it gets
Mm.
closer to Christmas, we'll have like a go to a movie theater or something like that. But
Oh, yeah.
that is
Do
really
any of your boys ever resist, like if it's like one of them has planned game night or something? Do any of them like, I don't want to play a game or I'm not doing that? Do they do that yet?
no, they don't. Not
Oh,
for that.
good.
The thing that we've realized that we all love is like that time together. So playing a game
Hmm.
together for our family is they really excited. Now,
Hmm.
picking the game, yes, I that is probably like, that's a hard one to find a
Hmm.
game that everyone loves. But
Yep.
yeah, they'll usually participate and play it. But it makes me think about what you were saying before we hit record, how what I don't like about this season is the pressure to
Hmm.
where you
Same.
feel like you have to say yes to too much or buy too much, and I am not a shopping person either. I do not like crowds. It drains my energy. But this idea that even we have to give gifts to a variety of people, like I really love, like one of my favorite traditions just for myself is I actually love doing Christmas cards, because I do the handwritten old fashioned. I put on, It's a Wonderful Life, and I it's my
Hmm.
time to just think of the people in my life, and I write them a personal letter. I really enjoy that.
I
It's
love
so
that.
much
I do
more.
not do that, and I wish I did. We used to do Christmas cards, and then I would write a little note with them. And I think maybe we quit doing it maybe during COVID. It hasn't been that long. But I'll tell you, if you don't send Christmas cards, you get less also. That I love getting Christmas cards and
Right.
I've just quit doing it. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, we're about half of what we used to get.
And then you always get those last few at the end, or like you weren't on their
Mm.
list, but then they got one from you. And you're like, oh my God, here's the extras they wrote.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
but I
Walmarns.
do
Yep.
enjoy that, because then to me it's not about giving, and stressing about the buying
Mm-hmm.
of the presents. And so one thing you shared that I love is, tell me, when you were a kid, you said you just, what
Mm-hmm.
did you long for, more than actual gifts?
Yeah. And I think part of it is I'm a middle child. And for sure, my middle child also is kind of the connector, that we're like everybody together, everybody together. And
Yes.
I always just wanted time together. And whether it was making cookies together, oh, I do love that tradition, making holiday
Same,
cookies.
same, same. Hmm.
Yep, love it, love it. And I don't really mind messes, so like a big messy kitchen is kind of fun, I think.
Hmm.
But I remember being little and feeling like, ooh, this is a lot. And there's a lot of people and that presence, Presence, that really feeling like my mom or my sister, whomever, was really dialed into a long conversation or drinking hot chocolate together. My mom was great at we lived kind of in the country, like on the edge of town, and there was a big hill by us. And my sister would go for hours because she liked the cold weather. And I would go for a little bit. But every time we came home, every single time, I need to tell my mom this, there was a fire going. And so
Mm,
we could go warm up by the fire. And she was making homemade hot chocolate. Like she'd
mhm.
stir it with a whisk on the stove for the longest time. So you knew you were coming into hot chocolate and a fire. And I loved that.
Mm.
So, feeling the presence of family or whomever you're with, the presence of spirit, whatever your beliefs are, that the magic of Christmas feels so magical when you feel like that deeper connection.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. More time by the fire, more time in conversation
Yeah.
under a cozy blanket.
Presence, being together. I love the term dialed in. Just every time you
Mm-hmm.
say it, I'm like, ooh.
My brother says it and he uses it all the time when he's talking about like getting stuff done
Mhm.
or um, his girls are athletes and he'll call and be like, oh, she was really dialed in today. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, that he uses dialed in and it feels to me like a pouring in, I'm not a dialed in athlete, but like dialed into a conversation or yeah, a
Yeah, I think
pouring
about the
into.
when you talk about energy, think about we're all on
Mm-hmm.
different, we're all just all running
Mm-hmm.
around doing our thing, and when you turn the dial onto that frequency where you're all on this
Oh yeah,
line, it's like
I love
ooh,
it.
and everything stops. All, going back to the cat reference, it's like the cat can chill. The cat's like, okay, we're all just like we're together in
Mm-hmm.
this moment. And it's so
Mm-hmm.
interesting when you're talking. I was thinking about one of my favorite sounds when our family gets together, and I've decided this year we're going to do Christmas Eve at my mom's. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have everyone over, but we're going to just do a game night. So we're doing our cookies, and then the next day we're doing games because I just thought let's just serve our cookies and let's just play. And we like to do things like
Mm-hmm.
categories or Pictionary, and
Oh, I love those.
sound of the ping pong when you were talking, I was like, that's why I love that, because it's like nobody's talking about what's going on in work and what the new projects you're doing and all the things. We're just dialed in to
Yes,
the
to
game at
this moment. Yeah.
this moment, and that sound of the ping pong, for me, that was my childhood. Like the adults and the kids, we used to play around the world a lot, and we've done that now with our kids, where kids run around, everyone runs around and hits the ball, and nothing can happen except that
Mm-hmm.
moment, and that sound of the ping pong ball is holidays to me. That's what matters when you really dial in. And I really do think, for the most part, sure, presents are great and all the other traditions are awesome, but I don't you think that most of us that's what we're longing
Mm-hmm.
for? That's what
Yes.
our children want.
And I
Like,
think mothers feel pressure with social media. It's worse with Pinterest, my Lord, that like every birthday party or every Christmas celebration needs to look a certain way. And I think, the name of our podcast is the Mindful Mama Movement. And what, when Shannon and I, when we talked about this so long ago, that like, what do we want to call it? What do we, and it was always like bringing mindfulness into mothering.
mm,
And I think bringing mindfulness or just like peace into Christmas. And what do I want to do? What do I want the holidays to feel like for my family? And it's different for every single one of us. I think we all have a dream of what the holidays feel like or smell like.
yes.
And I I hope for my children that coming home feels like that, like when I think of coming home off the sledding, that it feels like a warm fire and hot cocoa.
When you said that about your mom and that you need to share it with her, I'm thinking about the whisk around that hot cocoa.
Yeah.
To me, that is the memories that I want my kids to have. Like I want that
Mm-hmm.
comfort, that
Mm-hmm.
those little details that mom did that wasn't about running around and screaming, wrapping presents, all the
Yeah,
things.
right.
But just that to me is the symbol of like what I
Mm-hmm.
want them to remember.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, standing there,
yeah.
whisking, doing something thoughtful with them or for them.
Mhm.
I did like, I really am not a shopper, and I usually wrap every single present the Christmas Eve, that we do our Christmas on Christmas Day. And Will and I'm wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And actually that can be fun, but my mom would wrap as she went. And so we'd come home from school or whatever, and there'd be more gifts under the tree. And I do remember that feeling so exciting, like,
Oh,
oh my God, that has my name.
trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah,
And
ooh,
oh God,
shaking a box.
that was the best.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
I did
Yeah,
talk to the kids about that because ever since having little kids and then dogs, we can't ever really put presents under the tree like my mom
yeah,
used to do. Yeah, because, until the day of. But I
yeah,
wanted to share this
same.
story because, you
Okay.
asked me what's one of the things I don't like about the holidays, and I don't like that feeling of being fried where I can't be present. And so I've really tried to be more intentional. And I noticed, so yesterday was one of those moments where just so much going on. And I felt fried. I felt burned out, felt done.
Hmm.
And I had planned to go on a hike with the kids. So it was a beautiful day. It was nice and warm. And as we were getting there, I realized I was low on gas. The car and myself. And
I was
I
gonna say it's such a good representation for what you were feeling like. I'm out of gas. Yeah.
cars out of gas, exactly. And we do playlists in the car, and they had, I loved it, but at the moment, I'm really sensitive to sound, and so I wasn't
Hmm.
sure where I was going. I was trying to get on the highway, got gas, all this loud music playing in the car, and I was just like, oh my God. And I realized I'm overstimulated. My
Hmm.
system is breaking down. So I just asked let's turn the music off. I started to breathe. I got on the highway, and I felt myself as I was driving to where we were going on this hike that I internally was like calming down. And I knew in my
Hmm.
mind why I was going there. I needed a moment of peace. I just wanted this. To me, anytime I immerse myself in nature and I'm with the kids and I watch them run and bounce around in the sunshine,
The
it's
best.
pure joy. It's pure joy, and it's
Hmm.
pure relaxation for me. It's like going to the spa. It really is. So, but getting there was stressful. So I realized, I'm like, why am I doing this? I am going there to tune in, to dial in
Hmm.
to my
Hmm.
moment of peace. It brings me comfort. It helps me reset. And so as we got on the hike, I noticed the kids' mood changed too, and we all talked about it. I let them know rather than moms just super stressed out and freaking out and
Hmm.
getting us to
Hmm.
where we need to go. I said, here's what's happening. I was feeling really overwhelmed. I'm feeling tired and stressed. And I know that going to nature is on my comfort list. This brings me comfort. It brings me peace. It helps me relax and get grounded.
Hmm.
And I talked about that. And I'm like, this is something the kids need to be in tune with as well. They already
Hmm.
naturally know it, but how cool to have a conversation. So I started asking them, well, what brings you guys comfort? What's on your comfort list? And,
It's such
great.
a generous question.
Mm,
It's such a generous question to ask our children what brings you comfort. Then maybe they don't even know, but then they start thinking about, like, I love a bath, I love a fire, I love a cozy blanket.
yeah.
That that then they're more aware of what brings them comfort, and when they're needing it, then they've got access to it that maybe they wouldn't have been as able to kind of reach or
Yeah,
grab a hold of.
it's so true. It's like it gives your mind the language on what to focus on. Like, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what's going on with me. Oh, maybe I need to comfort myself. What are those healthy ways that I turn to comfort myself? Oh, nature. I always tend, all of us. It was so fun. It's one of those moments that I'm like, gosh, I'm really going to remember this hike because it felt like, oh, I don't know how to describe it. It felt like almost like I could see their energy like dancing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of funny. Like in
It
my
feels
mind.
contagious, like your tank was
Yes.
low, and then you get out in nature, and then they brightened up.
Yes.
They
It
fed
was,
you.
yes, it was like a spark. We all just, but
Exactly.
being able to label it and say, "Oh, this is why we love it." And then we saw wild turkey, and then we were talking about how we love the woods, and then it sparked my oldest son to talk about where he wants to live one day in the woods. It was such a cool
Mm.
experience. But yeah, I just think that we could invite us all, no matter if you're listening to this during the holidays,
Mm.
after, during winter, during a season you're not happy with, during the time where in your life where you feel like that cat and you're on pause. We can't stop time. We can't stop movement forward, but can we be more mindful? Can we be more intentional about what our needs are? And so, as you're listening to this, I would invite you to, what's on your comfort list?
Mm.
What brings you peace during this time of year? What can you turn to help you ground, to help you settle, to help you be more intentional? And how can you bring this conversation to your family too?
Yeah, I think so. And I often, when I'm with couples or individuals in counseling, and sometimes even in yoga, that I often will talk about what are your favorite traditions and favorite memories of your childhood? What are your least favorite memories and traditions of your childhood? Which ones are you doing now? And
Hmm.
like, are we, I remember this couple a few years ago, we are just kind of exploring family of origin and how it's coming up. And this guy was telling me and his wife, mostly like every Thanksgiving, my grandma would bring all the grandkids into the kitchen and we would make the pies together. And she's been with this guy for like 15 years, like forever. And she's like, why are we not doing that with our kids? You're
Right.
like, yeah, or why are we not encouraging your mother to do that? Like, whatever. Like, when he talked about it, he had sparkles in his eyes.
Oh,
And he'd never shared that with her before. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to talk to even your own, the grandparents, the elders. Like, what are your favorite memories? It's for sure different. My mom's 76. My grandmother at 101 just died 2 years ago. That I would love to have known what Christmas looked like for her
oh,
as a little girl when there were no cars, you know?
yes.
What did you guys do? How did you decorate a tree? Did you have real trees or fake trees? Like gathering that information for, yeah. And like, are we still doing those things? If you loved making cookies
Right.
as a child, are you doing
Right.
that? Or are we just being so pressured that like I've got to get the gift?
Yes. I love that so much because I think what it does too is it makes us practice being intentional about what to say yes
Mm.
to and what to say no to, because I think
Mm.
so often something comes in, another invitation, another expectation, and we're like, oh my god, I have to say yes, I have to say yes. And what I've, when you were talking, I was like, oh, my mom just invited me to make, she found her mom's recipe for her sweet rolls, my grandma, and that's what we're doing. We were going to put Fiddler on the Roof. We love musicals.
Oh,
And we're
yes.
going to have that in the background. And we're going to make these sweet rolls. And well, that was a huge yes for me. I was like, absolutely, I will carve out space and time to do
Mm-hmm.
that. Other things that are like, I can tell
Mm.
when my energy is like, nah, I feel pressure. I feel like I should do that, but no,
Yep.
it's a no for me. And so I
Yep.
love that, just kind of using this as a barometer. Is this like a tradition that you want to continue? Is this a
Mm-hmm.
tradition that
Yeah.
means something to you? Or are you feeling just pressure that you feel like you should say yes to this and do this,
Yeah. And then, yeah, let go of a few of the things.
Yeah. Talking about grandmas, we live the Carpenter's Christmas, and every time the
Mm.
Carpenters come on, I'm always like, and I try to sing like my grandma. She loved this time of year, and she loves singing those Christmas songs in the deep Carpenter voice. Oh my gosh. All right,
Oh,
my
God, that's
friend. So
funny.
we could talk forever about this. Before we go, I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
just let everyone know that we're going to take a break from recording because we're
Mm-hmm.
being intentional too about
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. Ashley's going to be in Mexico. We've got holidays and the new year. So we'll be back with a new episode the first week or so
Mm-hmm.
of January. Since we're going to be going through the new year, and we're talking about family tradition, you've got to share your family tradition of what you guys do on the New Year's because I think it's just so beautiful.
It's one of my favorites. And we make vision boards every single year on New Year's Day. And I think we started because it was just like really snowy one year, and just like we were kind of snowed in on New Year's Day, trying to find something to do, or the electricity was out. I don't remember, but it wasn't really intentional that we were going to keep doing it. We've done it every year for probably 15 years. And I've kept every single one of them. And we just get out all the old magazines and I keep everything in the same spot. And, we just cut and paste and cut and paste and cut and paste. And then we share it. And almost every year, the boys don't want to do it anymore.
Mhm.
But then we get started. And then, Will and I are like, fine, we're just going to do it. And then they come in and they're like, give me the scissors. And then they get started. And when we're done, we share, kind of our vision board for the next year. Every single year, most of us cry.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
love this. Have you ever gone back and pulled out the old ones and
We do. We go
reflected?
back every time.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We go back. And, like sometimes we'll have, a friend had spent the night that
Mhm.
often there'll be like an extra kid or two. And some people, make them really pretty. Ours look like a third grade collage, that ours are not like beautiful. It's just like cut and paste and cut and paste. Or mom, I think you'll like this.
Mm.
Usually it's like a yoga magazine. They think that's all I think about and do. I know you'll like this one, mom. But when we go back to like, oh, in 2010, we all wanted to go to Costa Rica. Like, why didn't we've never been to Costa Rica?
Yes.
But I do think that like we're all envisioning time together that year. Did we do that?
Yes.
And yeah, I'm usually like, I'm gonna start jogging or something, and then I'm like, I'm taking that off. I've done it too many years. I never started jogging. I'm not, I'm not putting that on my vision board.
So it's fun to look back and see the things that you're like, okay, this is, yeah, I can let this go. This isn't
That
ain't
was
ever
pressure.
happening. Right, exactly. But I'm sure there
Yeah.
are some things that have happened too that you're like, oh, right?
There's a lot of things that have happened, and usually it's a goal, or, you know, I remember like, we remodeled our house. That I've been in this house since I was 24, and it was an old crap. It was the crappiest house in Prairie Village, Kansas. And so we moved out and, for a few months and remodeled. And for many years, I put on like our old bathroom, like Will and I couldn't get in it at the same time. It was so small that if I was on the toilet, he'd have to like step over the top of me to get into the shower. It's true. And so we both had like, I don't know, pictures of a house without cracks in the walls or
Right.
prettier bathrooms. And it's sweet to be like, we did that, that we worked so hard so
Yeah.
we could be able to do that.
Mhm.
And our house is about the time that Owen moved out, it got cute, that it was many, many years of just the worst. And then, yeah, little things like, yeah, that planting a garden. And then, like, I did that last year, I finally did a good garden.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, I think it's a great place for us to wrap up this
Mm,
episode, and we will talk more about that because I crave goal setting for the new year. I love picking a word. I
mm,
love vision boarding, and I think that
mm,
we could talk more about this in future episodes. About one of the things I'm trying to get better at is like, work on a family mission statement and really get on some shared vision. And that's what you guys are doing when you do this
yep.
project. Like, we all have our individual visions of where we want to go with our
Mm,
personal health or our work, but there is something so beautiful about coming together as a family unit. And like you said, teaching your children this skill to just take some time for that reflection
mm,
before a new year, I think is beautiful and
yep.
so helpful in life. So yeah,
Yep.
thank you,
I
friend.
think so too. Reflect and manifest
Yeah,
all at kind of the same time. It's really sweet.
yeah, yeah. Well, happy
Yeah.
birthday, my friend. I always
Thank
love talking with
you.
you, and happy holidays and happy wintering. Got your
Yeah,
comfy, cozy
I
blankie.
know.
Get under your blankie and take the hottest bath you can this week, and we'll be back for more episodes to come in the new year.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening today. If you have a favorite family tradition, or maybe a way that you find comfort in the winter and you'd like to share that with us, email us hello@mindfulmamamovementpodcast.com. You can find us on Instagram and send us a DM. It's at Mindful Mama Movement Podcast. And if you want to join our mailing list, go to our website, mindfulmamamovementpodcast.com, and sign up so that you are the first to know about specials and new episodes coming out in the new year. We are so grateful for you as part of our community. Thank you for helping us get the word out about the show. You can leave us a review or rate us on iTunes. That just helps us get found by other moms, or simply share the show or favorite episode with your friends. We so appreciate you and wish you a peaceful holiday season. And we will see you back in January 2023. And our encouragement for you, Mama, is to keep making space for what matters most to you. Keep saying yes to the things that feel right and in alignment to your energy, and protect your energy during this winter season, as there are many pressures that happen to us, and it is up to you to carve out space to take really good care of yourself as you take care of your families. So be well, and we will see you in the next show.